Hello everyone, I'm Kibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where we've been busy building a massive nuclear power plant, and last time we have started on plutonium production, where we take a bunch of crazy stuff from all over our factory and blend it together into the first stage of the plutonium fuel rod production chain, which is creating non-fissile uranium. Now that that stage is complete, we are going to move on today and build ourselves a ton of particle accelerators to make encased plutonium cells. One of the last things we need before we make plutonium fuel rods and create the most powerful source of energy in the game. The only problem is we gotta build a bunch of particle accelerators. A lot of particle accelerators, because we wanna make 448 encased plutonium cells per minute. And if each accelerator can make 10, we need a lot of these. 44.8 particle accelerators. And they're chunky. They're about the size of a nuclear reactor themselves. And what's even worse is the power draw. Each of these can take from 250 megawatts to 750 megawatts because they are variably powered. When you boot them up, they start off slow. Once they get going, oh, what's worse than that is we can't even overclock them. If we fully overclock these, that 750 megawatts there explodes to a casual 2,518.3 megawatts. And don't even get me started with using a Sommers loop here. FYI, that's 10,000 megawatts for one machine. Just one. But still, I am wildly excited for this project because I've been waiting a long time to build some particle accelerators around here. You see, way back when we started this whole power plant, we built our central control room here, with all the levers and doodads to control the entire factory, as in turn on and off uranium fuel rod production, plutonium, the full grid, everything. But beyond its function of giving us a quick overview and control of the factory, one cool thing we did in here was we made it a hexagon, which I think looks amazing. And so today, we're gonna scale that concept up and then build all of our particle accelerators inside a giant hexagonal building. And I've been saving this corner of the factory forever just to work on it. And what's even better is hexagons are not actually that hard to build. Get your road barrier, you go right to the corner of a platform, so it's just like that. Then you tilt it, like one click, you zoop it out, just like so, and then you attach another foundation to that second road barrier, just at the same level as the first. And then when you zoop out, you get rid of the road barriers in that initial platform. Boom. You have a perfect corner connection right here. So you can make hexagons as large as you want. And for our purposes, since we're going to be building a bunch of particle accelerators, we're going to have each side be 6 tiles long. And that should allow us to work with the accelerators. Pretty much, I want to have them each sitting on each side of the hexagon facing inward, and if we build it in the center of the 6 tiles, about like there.
A productive pioneer is a good pioneer.
Thank you, Ada. We build it about there. We should have enough space to build all of the inputs and outputs. And then we just set the recipe and go from there. Where's the recipe? Where's the palette? What? Pasta? Oh yeah! I've unlocked all the alternate recipes in the game, except I just haven't selected them yet. They're in the hard drive library. Like this one, right? There we go. Instant plutonium cells. Thank you very much. Let's get building. So we're gonna have the 6 sides. It's gonna take up this whole corner. And then we start filling in the particle accelerators. Not bad, didn't take too long here. And now we have all the space. But as per usual, even with all of my planning, there's always something I forget. These particle accelerators take a lot of items. 500 quick wire, in fact. You know, 44.8 times 500 is a little bit more quick wire than I got on deck. And my poor dimensional storage, I don't think it's gonna be keeping up here, bud. Yeah, that's a negative, Ghost Rider. Let's quickly whip back to our main base and upgrade some systems. Ooh, and already, I am so excited for this project. It is gonna look so good. Okay. Into our factory here. Let's just upgrade a couple things, eh? And while I was at it, just saw some Caterium lying around, so brought that over into just some constructors and added in some more dimensional depots, just so we could upload items faster. So back to it. First floor is done, and now it's time to move up. It's the only place we have left to build. I just can't have this building be taller than our main control center. It'll ruin the vibes. But man, even with just the first floor in, I bet you're already starting to pick up what I'm putting down here. This is gonna be so cool. In fact, better than I ever imagined. It's like a coliseum, pretty much. I love this. This is so cool. Oh, if only for not the terrible glaring problem that ruins everything. I could only build 36 particle accelerators in here. As you might recall, overclocking isn't happening. I'm crazy, but not that crazy. And what's even worse is we're kind of running out of real estate around here, especially with that massive new build-in. So what do? We relax. We don't worry about nothing. Everything's already been handled. Like I said earlier, I've been planning this for a long time, ever since I built this main control room here. And past Kibs accounted for this very issue, wherein when we're building all of our actual power plants and hooking them all up, we built a set right over here, but left the space underneath totally empty. Just in case we had to build a couple extra particle accelerators. So we have 36 there, meaning we have to fit about 12 down here.
Have you correctly calculated the necessary power?
Ada, I'm trying to sound smart right now. Be quiet. But as you see right here, this fits in perfectly. The height is all good, and lo and behold, with some proper spacing, we're able to fit 4 in a row like that. And then lengthwise, we can fit another 3. So actually we could fit 16 down here, but no, we're only gonna put 12. That'll give us 48 particle accelerators, which is over budget, but that's okay. We have some extra capacity in our plutonium production. That just means we can get rid of a little extra uranium waste if that ever, for whatever reason, became a problem, which it absolutely never will. So all accelerators are built. We are good to go. Belt work wise, very simple. Left myself a lot of space at the beginning, right? So we could just do all the belt work vertically. So the belts just go off through the side here, dodge this support pillar. And then since we have the vertical splitters, oh my gosh. It was so easy, barely an inconvenience. Now all the inputs and outputs just go down to the base layer here. And then the power just runs alongside. And I even started to do a little bit of detailing, adding in some metal pillars and some beams, just because we're getting close to finishing this project up. Because the machines only need 2 items, non-fissile uranium and aluminum casings. And the non-fissile uranium is just made and brought over in some blenders, so all of that stuff is right over here. As for the casings, well, we're just gonna be flying those in from our main base. We got 2 free drone ports. Gonna be 448 casings in. Set you up with a little flying friend here. Paint you chrome. And I just had to run a belt over. So the belt comes down here through a main item spine, onto a main conveyor line, over this way through this building, and then finally over to the project area. So I spent a little bit of time just dressing everything up, making it look nice, bringing the power over. That's our plutonium power line. And that all is hooked up to here. One little hiccup was, we had 6 belts of non-fissile uranium, right? So I was like, we should play it safe. We should balance all of the inputs out. So I made this 6-to-6 balancer here, but pretty much 6 random belts go in, 6 equal belts go out, and then everything is distributed to all of the accelerators. And along with bringing the inputs over, I distributed them right, and that was a little bit of a headache, but I just hid it underground here. But even still, I'm just compelled, okay? I tried my best to make it look good, and it doesn't look bad, but you know how I am, okay? I gotta try a little bit, right? And it all ends up over here, underneath actually, all of my walkways and such, in like a little logistics box right in front. Now for the big part I've been waiting for, making this all look good.
But Kibs, it looks already so amazing. Look at all the particle accelerators and a burr.
Look, I agree that particle accelerators are one of the coolest looking buildings in the game. However, this nuclear project is going the full way. All the way to Fixonium fuel rods. And on that journey, we're gonna have a lot more fun with particle accelerators, okay? So these bad boys we're boxing in. But I have a really neat idea that I've wanted to try out for a while, and how we're gonna go about it. So each of these squares here is the same size. It's 4 by, what, 8? Yeah, 4 by 8. So what we can do is we can make like template designs and then fill the walls in. And in doing so, we're going to clip these walls into the particle accelerators themselves. So like this kind of like weird part here will be sticking out a bit. That way, when we build all these walls around, there'll be the flickering lights still going crazy all over the build. And they'll look really, 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 really neat. So all things considered, it shouldn't be all that difficult to build all this. There's a couple walls here and there, and like all in, this is generally what I want to do. And it could be that easy, but oh no, I was like, oh, let's go all fancy. We're building with particle accelerators, oh boy. And I made this very annoying design. Trying to incorporate some depth, I moved some walls back and forth with micro nudging, added in these pillars here, and then did my best to try and avoid any gaps in the wall so no light kind of like peeks through. In the end, this is what I came up with. And you know, I think it looks pretty good. For one segment at least. We can't just fill in every single wall the same way. It'd get dull, it'd get boring. It would ruin the pizzazz. So instead of just building one wall, I made a template and then made a bunch of variants. So each of these walls is precisely fitted to go into each of those squares over there. But we can switch them up so we can keep the design looking fresh from all angles. We got this design over here using some beams and then some basic walls. And then this kind of cubby side is the template where we have the sign up here. And then the particle accelerator just goes along these walls. Notice they're not all the way filled in because that's all could be clipping into the machine. And then I just kept switching the design up. There's the original over there. Added in a bigger window, some basic walls here. This side will be clipping in to the concrete there because we only had the 4 tiles on the bottom, right? So clipping into the sides wasn't a big issue. Have some vents. And then I was like, hey, too many templates, looking too simple. Let's switch it up. So no windows, big bright sign, lots of pipes. Then for the final version, I used actually the back sides of billboards as an exterior wall. So inside, big blue light. Outside, weird wall texture. Now if I just mix and match all these variants appropriately, it should look really good. In fact, I think this is gonna turn out to be one of the coolest builds I may ever make. Again, that is if I do things properly. A couple big things is we have some walls that are really plain, right? Like this wall is just a bunch of beams and stuff. But for different sides, I want different aesthetics. Like this is where the sun faces, right? So the sun will always be looking at this side, meaning I'll get all my YouTube screenshots from here. So I definitely want to make this side the best looking. And I feel like this big light template will stand out the most. So we want to definitely include a lot of these on what is kind of going to be like the front. We'll strategically put these like here and there. And beyond that, it's kind of like filling in the gaps. Just making sure no 2 designs are right next to each other. So we have this wall variant 1. We can't have it here, can't have it there, but we could just have it over here, right? Just sitting pretty. And then by order of operations, that means if we have variant 1 here and there, and variant 5 here, we can't use 1 or 5, meaning we could use like 3, no problem. Then we just go ahead and repeat that process all the way around the build. And after all is said and done, and all the walls are in place, it's looking good. But here's the kicker. Oh, there's one last trick up my sleeves. Ooh, you see, I didn't want this to look like some kind of office building type scenario. I wanted all of these different templates to connect up to each other. That's why we have all the Miller pedals here, so we can connect them vertically. But then you probably are asking yourself, Kibbs, what about these pipes? Well, they're mostly just decoration, but more importantly than that is we're going to connect the pipes from segment to segment to wrap the whole building in these aesthetic pipes. You see, it was something I was messing around with when we were automating uranium fuel rods. We had our manufacturers in place, and then I had this like tile gap in between. So I added in this chrome pipe, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a nice detail. Doesn't literally do anything except for look cool. And more important than that is I could connect it to other parts of the factory. So it goes from there, scoots down this way, over through all these belts and stuff, and then into this building, where they go all over the place and add in detail where, well, there really wasn't, at least when I got started here. And now we can do that on the big scale. Every one of these pipes can just be a connection point to join some different part together. So we'll go from here, go and hit the wall, maybe just go around the wall even to connect sides. Go from here, and then connect this up with, I don't know, anything. That, sure, doesn't matter. And that way, instead of just having it be like kind of a hexagon with like wall segments on it, everything will be connected with a variety of pipes and it'll look so much better. I did this a little bit over here already, where these two segments kind of got conjoined. The pipes go up this way, onto the roof, and then just kind of, I don't know, do nothing for now. I'll figure it out. Now we take that concept, give the build a little bit of a paint job, added one boop, and now you get to bear witness to what might be my greatest masterpiece. It's beautiful, gorgeous. The pipes all connecting together. The custom assets I did every here and there to make it look a little bit more interesting. The painted concrete, it's all amazing. Even on the ceiling, we have little vents, the pipes going connecting up, the textured roof, the open concept, but whoa, so you roll there, Kibbs. You better believe I worked on the interior as well. But first, you really just gotta see this from afar. That's when it really shines. It's designed specifically for that corner, among the rest of the power plant. So as a whole, it makes the entire plant look even better. I just love it. I love it. It turned out exactly how I expected, because I planned everything. I'm a genius. Kinda no, it's even better than expected. We have our main kind of uranium fuel rod building. This is kind of our main plutonium fuel rod building. And it just makes the whole power plant as a whole look even better. Oh, and like I said, I worked on the interior and I held nothing back. I usually don't like to use gold, but my goodness, if there's ever a time, this was it, bud. Painted all of the particle accelerators gold, moved some more pipes in the interior that you can hardly notice, but I can. And it's just, it's a masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. And just you wait till we turn it on. Then we're gonna have all the electricity everywhere, the noises, the sounds, the visuals. Oh my gosh. I freaking love Satisfactory, the video game. However, though, that is gonna be all for now. So if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe for more. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.